Hi, I'm SirBastflow and today I'm gonna talk about flying a drone in a forest. First of all, this video is kind of like a week late, so sorry about that. Last weekend Sekiro Shadows Die Twice came out and I pretty much played the whole weekend. So a few weeks back I decided I want to try out flying my drone in a forest. I felt I was confident enough with my skills so I could do it, and then I went there and I crashed it. But the reason why I crashed it wasn't because I was bad at flying. Actually, everything went okay until the point that I was about to land on my hand. The drone was already running out of battery. It had been warning me for a little more than a minute maybe. I just ignored it and flew a bit more. I thought I can do this. Well, just when I was about to land on my hand, the drone's return home function started, and that means the drone will just take off and go to wherever you started flying. And in this case, I was in the middle of the forest. I was surrounded by birches with a lot of branches. So the drone just started going up, and it took me a couple of seconds to realize what's going on. And then I started hearing the drone like hitting the small branches. And that's probably the worst feeling I've ever had in my life, at least in a single short time span. So of course I started panicking and trying to cancel the return home, and I failed, and then I accidentally pressed all the buttons because I was just panicking, and it was terrifying. But anyway, I did manage to land the drone and take it back. Pretty much all the props broke. One of them broke like completely. Thankfully the drone survived, and thankfully I had some spare parts or spare props as well. By the way, I hope it's not too windy out here, because as you can see I'm in the middle of the forest. Let's talk about the possibilities you get when you fly a drone in a forest. So first of all, of course you can go higher. You can get like bird's eye perspective to everything. You can go fly forward, you can fly downwards, you can use the gimbal to, you know, like change the angle of the camera. So it really gives you a lot of different possibilities. Also, you can just pan through the forest, fly through it, go really close to the ground. I think that looks super cool to see like this oddly satisfying movement when you go close to the ground and you can see all the tiny plants and everything. You also get this, like when you take a photo of a forest, it looks really flat and bland, but with a drone or with video in general, you can really get a good sense of space in the video, and I think that's the most powerful feature you can get when flying a drone. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend flying in a forest for beginners, because you really need to know your drone before you can do it. Actually, today when I was recording these videos I almost crashed my drone, so thank God I didn't. It was so close. I didn't properly anticipate the speed, the drone was going sideways, and I had to like press the other direction so I wouldn't hit a tree, because my Mavic Air drone, I don't know about other drones, but Mavic Air doesn't have sensors on the sides, so basically if you go sideways you can crash into anything. It has sensors in the front, behind it, and downwards, so it's pretty safe usually. From that we can get to the first point. First of the cons is obviously you can easily crash your drone. There's trees, and even if the drone can sense the trees around it, it might not sense the tiny branches, so you gotta be really careful to avoid those. Also, if your battery runs out like it did for me, respect that. Always respect that. I learned my lesson from a mistake, and now every time the battery starts screaming that I'm about to run out, I immediately return back, because I don't want to get that feeling, that awful feeling of crashing the drone again. Let's talk about flying the actual drone in the forest, because like we already discussed, we can get a lot more cool stuff on your videos and a lot of cinematic shots and so on. So first of all, try to fly straight, because that's the safest way to do it, and on top of that, fly slow. Like, I can't stress this enough, because like I said earlier today, I almost crashed my drone, and I didn't even go too fast, but it was just fast enough that the drone had to do this like braking movement to stop, and I had to force it as well. Like, be wary of the drone's surroundings at all times, because it's an expensive toy, you don't want to crash it. And usually it's a good idea to walk with the drone and keep an eye on it. Don't look at your phone or the screen on the controller, because you're easily gonna miss some of the branches and then your drone's gonna hit them, and that's it. Of course you don't have to move when you're flying a drone in a forest. You can just put the drone over there and walk under it, or whatever you're shooting, tell them to walk under it, and just keep it still. It looks really cool even that way. And also, don't fly your drone in like a super thick forest. As you can see, this is fairly thick, I would say, but it has some open areas, so it's fairly safe to fly. But if there's a lot of branches, especially low in the trees, don't fly there. It's not worth the risk. And if you have another camera, use that then. Okay, I would say that every time your shot doesn't require a drone, don't use one, because why would you? If you have another camera, use that, because avoid the risks at all costs. So in conclusion, should you fly a drone in a forest? The answer to the question is, I think you should, but you have to be extra careful of your surroundings. You really have to know how to fly your drone and be ready for any risks, because your drone might disconnect anytime, and that's the beginning of hell, really. So yeah, flying a drone gives you extremely cool possibilities to get amazing shots for your videos, so I would say I recommend it. But remember, I'm not an expert. I've just learned to fly my drone. I've had it a couple of months only, and I'm not a professional filmmaker, so take this with a grain of salt. I have a question for you. Do you think it's worth the risk flying a drone in a forest? Let me know in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit different from what I usually do, but I just wanted to talk about this subject, especially since I crashed my drone already. If you did enjoy the video, leave a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I usually upload once a week, either on Monday or Tuesday, depends on my weekend really. Welcome, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching, and SirBastflow out in the wild. Bye! That was fun, wasn't it?